Hey guys, welcome back. Let's look at the possible cards that will come in the new pack on the 10th of May. And of course, like this information says here, this information is unconfirmed, so take it with a grain of salt. However, Decayed source has been correct on previous leaks so far. And that is right. So I think that these leaks are like quite, we can trust them, I would say. So let's look at the cards. And in my opinion, if these are all the new cards that come in the new selection pack, in my opinion, it's a very weak selection pack. We have a few cool things here, but I would have like guessed that the Biscuits come, that maybe the remaining Sprite cards will come, that the new Labyrinth cards will come, but and the Kashtira cards will come, but nothing of the cards came, so I guess they then will be in the next pack. But let's look through the cards, and I will only talk about the cards that have or will have some sort of impact. The first card we have is Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, which is a cool tuner or a cool synchro that resummons you a tuner. So what you can basically do is if you summon this guy, the card says it here, if this card is synchro summoned, you can special summon one level 2 or lower tuner from your graveyard. So the idea is to make this guy with a level 2 tuner, and then you can resummon the tuner, and then you can basically climb into a rank 10, which most of the time is Baron de Fleur. This is quite nice. This is finally used in the new deck in the TCG, Super Heavy Samurai, within the combo. I think in the decks that we have in Master Duel right now, this will not be used as frequently, but nevertheless, it's a cool card to have, and maybe we will get it in super rare and not ultra rare, so it will be easy to be picked up. And I think this can be used in decks to come. Then there are a lot of not so like impactful cards. The GOTY cards, of course, they can go into some water decks. They can form an own archetype, but I think that these are cards that we can ignore for now, will not make a big meta impact. The next really impactful cards, and I think these are the most impactful cards out of the pack, if that is the pack in the end that we get. Of course, when the pack comes out, I will also make a video about it, is Naturia Mole Cricket and Naturia Camellia, as well as Naturia Blessing. So there are a lot of Naturia cards right now, but these will make the Naturia deck way better, and it's quite possible that you will play it, or what, it's not quite possible, it's like given that you will play these cards here. You need 3 of these, and 3 of the Blessing, and then you will play it in Runic, so it becomes Runic Naturia, which in the latest TCG big events, big tournaments, was a really strong deck, is a really strong deck. But we have to be considered that in the TCG all the Runic cards are unbanned, and we have like the best Runic cards at 2. Runic Fountain went to 2, Runic Tip went to 2, so Runic is weakened in Master Duel. So that is why I'm not quite sure if the Naturia Runic deck will be that strong. One thing I am sure about is if Tearlament stays at the power level that it is currently at, and it will, because the next balance patch will come at the end of May, so you can expect to have the best deck, or be the best deck Tearlaments in the game for at least another month. And if that is the case, then Naturia Runic will not be that good, because Runic is not very good against Tearlaments, because the Shizu shufflers can just shuffle back your Runic quick spells, and that's really, really bad for you. So I think as long as Runic, as Tearlaments is around in full power, Runic Naturia will not be that great. I myself am not quite sure if I will pick up this pack. I will have to see what will be in the pack in the end, because the only really like interesting things for me would be the Naturia cards, and I have to see if all of them are ultra rare, which I honestly can imagine. Konami tends to, I mean, they of course know what the good cards are, because they already see it in the TCG and OCG, and then they make the good cards the expensive cards. That's the unfortunate thing. There's also the point that other Naturia cards that you need are also quite high rarity, so you need 2 additional ones for the extra deck that are ultra rare, and then another super rare, which you need 3 of. So it's not a cheap deck at all, and of course you need the Runic core, and if you do not have it, you can at this moment not really get it, because it is not in a secret pack, so you basically have to craft it. Then, as I already said, these are the most impactful cards. Then we have the Fright for Hire stuff, Rex Fright for Hire, and is there another one? I think there was a... Wasn't there like a spell card for hire? No. Then it's only Rex, but Rex makes the decks way better. This is also funny because this... Oh, it's Donner Dagger for hire. That's right. So Rex and Donner Dagger go together with Runic to form Runic Furhire, which is also a really strong Runic variant. But I think on its own, the Furhire archetype will not be that impactful. Though Donner Dagger Furhire is a really cool, like, generic Link 2 monster, because you can make him with 2 monsters with different types, and you will see this card in a few decks in the future. Kashtira, for example, ran this card, the Labyrinth deck ran this card in the TCG, so this is more of a generic Link 2 that you will see in a lot of decks. So picking this up is not a bad thing. This can basically, by, let me not tell you something wrong, you contribute 1 monster, special summon monster, blah blah blah, with a different name. That's not the thing. You can target 1 monster Furhire you control, this is the Donner Furhire then, and 1 monster your opponent controls, and destroy them. This is why you make this. Yeah, so this is quite a good generic Link 2 monster, which you will likely pick up sooner or later, depends on the deck. Then we have the World Sea Dragon Cialantis, a cool end boss monster, for example, for the Marine Cells archetype. This is quite nice. Then we have new support for Sword Soul, which unfortunately is not good and will not be played in Sword Soul, so we can basically ignore this. This is a really cool kind of generic synchro monster that you will find in Sword Soul, and you can play in Sword Soul, but you can also play this, of course, in Ice Jade. Though Ice Jade is not a really like strong archetype, but this makes the archetype way better, and you can also play this, as I already said, in Sword Soul. This is level 10. This needs a water tuner and 1 non-tuner monster. The Sword Soul tokens are water tuners, and this 3000 attack monster via quick effect you can activate this effect and face a monsters you control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects this turn, which is really strong because you can react to a card that your opponent plays to maybe banish one of your cards, and then you can just chain the Ice Jade Gmir, and then this does not work anymore. And then if you activated this effect in response to your opponent's cards or effect activation, which that is what I just talked about, and your opponent has a card with the same name on the field and or graveyard, you can banish those cards. So then you can banish the card that he just activated and also copies that he maybe has in the grave. And if a card is banished by your opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, then you can special summon this card. So a really cool, really strong Synchro 10 that you can put in Sword Soul. So it's funny because Sword Soul support was the Abyss Dragon Sword Soul, but the real Sword Soul support was the Ice Jade Gmir. Then we have Plunder Patrol Ship Yord. This is funny because I'm not quite sure, but this was support that came out in Photon Hypernova, I think, so the latest set in the TCG. I'm not quite sure if I'm right there, but I think I am. And this is actually not from Darkwing Blast, the set we are in right now. I also have a video for you where I will show you the next impactful cards that will come. We will go over the current pack that we are in, Darkwing Blast. Note though that in the video I talk about the Naturia cards and I say, hey, we will get them in the future, and of course we will get them now. So it's a bit old, the video I will show you, but that's fine. This is a really cool card for the Plunder Patrol archetype because this is able to change the attribute of an opponent's monster, and then you can summon the Plunder Patrol ships. So I'm not quite sure how this works because I have never played this deck. It's not really impactful, and it will not be impactful after this card, but it's still a good support card. Then, as I already talked about, Naturia Blessing, really, really cool, really strong quick play spell. Then we have Assault Synchron, which is a cool synchro machine tuner, level 2. That is quite nice. The other cards are really not that important. And then there is like Diaborantis, the Menacing Mantis, which is, it's not bad. It's like level 8, and if this card is synchro summoned, you can send 1 insect or plant monster from your deck to the graveyard up to the number of non-tuners used for it for the synchro summon. So there are a few decks that can play this card, but I would say this is more on the less impactful side. So overall, if this will be the new cards that we get from the next pack, the Synchro Stardust Dragon is nice to get to grab. Then the Naturia cards are really strong if you want to play Naturia Runic, and I think the moment Tearlament leaves the meta or isn't the best deck in the meta anymore, Naturia Runic will be a really strong deck. Then you can also pick up the Rex, the Fright for Hire cards for Runic Fright for Hire, or the Runic, the Fright for Hire pure deck. Donner Dagger for Hire is like maybe the best stable card that you can pick up out of this pack, and then also the Ice Jade Gmir. But I can imagine that because this is a high-level synchro, this is a high-level synchro, this is a Link 2, so I think that these cards will at least be super rare, maybe ultra rare, and you can be sure that the Naturia cards will not be low rarity. That would be awesome if these tend, if like, because you need 3 of each of them, yeah? So if like, for example, the Blessing and the Camellia end up being super rare and only one, maybe the Mole Cricket is ultra rare, then I will grab every one of them and I will build the deck. But if every card here, if 9 cards get the ultra rare status, then I think I will skip the Naturia Runic deck and will save up for Kashtira, which is the big deck that will come next, though it is still a few months until the deck will be full power. So that's it for now. As I already said, we will make a video, or I will make a video when the pack comes out on the 10th of May. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave me your comments in the commentaries. Which of the cards are you excited about? Are there any that you are excited about? And we will see each other in the next one.